All right, let's just jump right in. If you found yourself lost out in the middle of nowhere, like tomorrow, would you know the very first thing to do? That's what we're going to break down today. The absolute must know core principles of survival, all pulled straight from the playbooks of the experts.
This quote really hits the nail on the head. It sets the whole stage for us. See, a survival situation, it's rarely just a case of bad luck. It's usually a bunch of little things, a chain of events that honestly could have been avoided. And that's the key takeaway here. Knowledge and a little bit of prep. They aren't just nice to haves. No, they're the difference between coming home with a wild story to tell and, well, not coming home at all.
So, before you even think about building a shelter or finding water or anything like that, the very first and most critical battle you're going to face, it's right here between your ears. It's all about your mind. Your mental state is literally the first domino. It has to fall the right way or nothing else matters. Okay, so here's your playbook for that critical first moment. The second you realize you're lost, your brain is going to try to deny it. No way, I can't be lost. You have to fight that impulse. Just accept it. Okay, this is real. Then take that surge of adrenaline, that fear, and turn it into a tool. Let it make you hyper-aware. Don't let it spiral into panic. Because honestly, a clear, rational head is, without a doubt, your single most important survival tool.
All right, so you've got your head screwed on straight. What's next? Where do you even begin? Well, you need a plan, and this is it. We're talking about the 4 pillars of survival. And let me tell you, getting these things in the right order, it's not just important, it's absolutely critical if you're going to make it out.
So let's break this down. Take a look at that order. It probably feels a little backwards, right? Protection, shelter is number 1. Before water, why is that? Well, it's simple. The elements, whether it's freezing cold or baking heat, can take you out in just a matter of hours. That's way faster than thirst. After that, it's location, making sure you can be found. Then comes water. And finally, way down at the bottom of the list is food. I mean, think about it. You can go for weeks without eating, but only a few days without water. Okay, our priorities are locked in. Now it's time to get our hands dirty. We're shifting gears from the what you need to do to the how you're going to do it. We're talking about the actual skills you need to tackle these priorities and start taking some control back from Mother Nature. First up, protection. Your goal here is super simple. Stay warm and stay dry, period. So, find a spot that already has some cover from the wind and rain. And get off the ground. The cold, damp earth will just suck the heat right out of your body. So pile up a thick bed of leaves or pine boughs for insulation. A little trench dug around your spot can be a lifesaver, keeping rainwater from turning your shelter into a puddle. Oh, and if you find a cave, awesome. But just remember, you might not be the first creature to think it's a great home. Always, always check for residents. All right, let's move on to that next big priority, water. And to really drive home how urgent this is, let me ask you a question. Without any water, how fast do you think your body starts to seriously decline? The answer? It's probably a lot faster than you think. Just look at this. The breakdown is wild. It happens so fast. At just 1 to 5% water loss, that's not a lot. You're already thirsty, uncomfortable, impatient. Jump to 6 or 10%, and now you're dizzy, your head is pounding, you can't speak clearly. And beyond that, your body just starts shutting down. We're talking deafness, blurred vision, death. This is exactly why water is so high on that priority list. So where do you find it? Well, nature leaves clues all over the place if you know what to look for. See a patch of really green plants? That's a huge sign that water is close, even if it's underground. And hey, water flows downhill, right? So check out low-lying areas and valleys. Animals also need a drink, so following their tracks can lead you right to a water source. And here's a really cool trick, the solar still. You just tie a plastic bag tightly around a leafy branch, and the sun's heat will literally pull clean, drinkable water right out of the leaves for you. A fire is like the ultimate survival multi-tool. It's warmth, it's how you purify water, it's how you cook, and it's a massive signal for help. But getting one going can be really tough if you don't do it right. So you've got to follow these 3 stages, no shortcuts. First, you get your fluffy tinder bundle lit. Then you gently build a little teepee of small twigs, your kindling, over that tiny flame. Let it breathe. And only when that's burning strong do you start slowly adding the bigger pieces of wood.
And hey, here's a little pro tip for you. You probably don't even need to go looking for tinder. The best stuff you can find might already be in your pockets. Seriously, that little ball of lint from your jeans pocket, it's like gold. It's super flammable and will catch a spark like you wouldn't believe. Even just a few fibers pulled from a cotton shirt can work in a pinch.
Okay, we've gone over the big pillars for staying alive. But let's be real. Accidents happen. And knowing how to deal with the most likely medical problems you'll face is every bit as important as knowing how to build that fire. When it comes to the environment, your two biggest enemies are going to be heat injuries on one side and hypothermia on the other. And what's tricky is that their symptoms can get confused if you're not careful. Look here, with heat injuries, you're often looking at skin that's sweaty but feels cool. With hypothermia, though, it starts with shivering and then moves into dangerous territory like confusion and sleepiness. Knowing the difference is everything because it determines what you need to do right now. Now, this one might sound a little backwards, but it's crucial. If you get a nasty cut, your first instinct is probably to try and close it up, right? Don't do it. In a survival situation, the number one enemy of a wound is infection deep inside. So the best practice, what the military even teaches, is open treatment. You clean it out as best you can, and yes, fresh urine is sterile and works if it's all you've got, and you leave it open. This lets all the bad stuff drain out. Just cover it loosely with a clean dressing, but do not seal it shut. All right, you've done it. You've got your head in the game. You're managing your environment. You're surviving. But that's not the end goal, is it? The ultimate goal is to get home. So now, we're shifting to the final and maybe most important phase, signaling for rescue. How do you make sure people can actually find you? And that starts with this question, maybe the most important one of all. Does anyone even know where you are? Seriously, the single best thing you can do for your own rescue happens before you even leave the house. Telling someone your plan, where you're going, when you expect to be back is a total game changer. It shrinks the search area from somewhere on the planet to a manageable zone. Your chances of being found just skyrocketed. So how do you get their attention? You have to remember, rescuers are scanning for anything that looks unnatural, anything that doesn't belong. And there's a pattern you'll see here. Notice the magic number? 3. 3 fires in a triangle, 3 blasts on a whistle, 3 piles of rocks. The number 3 is the universal signal for, I'm in trouble. And don't underestimate a signal mirror. That tiny flash of light can be seen by a pilot from miles and miles away. It's incredibly effective. And of course, there's the big one. SOS. 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots. It doesn't matter how you send it. Tapping it out, flashing it with a light, blowing on a whistle. SOS is the most famous distress signal in the world for a very good reason. It's simple. It's impossible to mistake for something else, and pretty much everyone on Earth knows what it means. So, there you have it. We've talked about getting your mind right, the 4 pillars of survival, the essential skills you need, and how to signal for help. And all that brings us to one final question. Look, knowing all these rules is one thing, but being actually prepared to use them, that's a whole different ballgame. True survival isn't about the heroic stuff you do when things go wrong. It's about the boring stuff you do before you even walk out the door. It's about the gear you pack, the skills you actually practice, not just read about, and that plan you leave with someone. So, the real question I want to leave you with is this. It's not about what you've learned here today, it's about what you're gonna do with it.